As the southeast U.S. prepares for Hurricane Matthew, a regional company is gearing up to help after the storm.
How the storm is affecting a Kentucky organization helping in Haiti.
And some positive news for drivers that use a very busy Lexington road.
This is WKYT News at 5:30.
Good evening to you and thanks for watching WKYT. 2 million people are being told to get out now as Hurricane Matthew continues to move towards the coast. Evacuations are underway in Florida, Georgia, even South Carolina, the largest mandatory evacuation since Superstorm Sandy in 2012.
Very, very serious situation. The storm is set to run alongside the Florida coast tonight. The Category 4 storm bringing winds of about 140 miles per hour. President Barack Obama has already declared a state of emergency in Florida, and state officials are not mincing words about the dangers.
There are no excuses. You need to leave. Evacuate, evacuate, evacuate.
The governor of South Carolina says 250,000 people have already gone inland so far, and another 200,000 could leave today. Let's begin right now with WKYT's Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey, who's tracking every move of Hurricane Matthew.
Yeah, you know, guys, this is turning into a little buzzsaw of a hurricane right now, and the eye on this storm is tightening up just a little bit. Look at our Defender radar network here, and right on top of Freeport here in the Bahamas, that is where the eye is getting ready to pass over. And you can see it's approximately 100 miles off the coast now of Florida. Still a Category 4, 140 miles per hour for sustained winds. That's right around the eye wall. Moving to the northwest at 13 miles per hour. There you see Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, and Freeport, and the eye of that storm and that leading eye wall is ready to come ashore in just a matter of minutes here across Freeport, and then it's off to the northwest it goes from there. Here's a little bird's eye view of that eye wall, and notice how that thunderstorm complex is thunderstorms are wrapping around the eye, and that's a sign that it is trying to strengthen right now. To the west of Palm Beach, or to the west of our eye, you see Palm Beach. That's about 100 miles away. Hurricane warnings up and down the east coast of Florida as the track of that will take it toward Melbourne, the Daytona Beach area, and then towards Savannah, Hilton Head, but maybe just staying offshore before it does a little loop and tries to come back. Keep looking at this hour-by-hour radar because this is our most sophisticated computer model that we have. It has the best vision, and I'm using this because it's actually matching up pretty well with where it is starting out with that eye over top of Freeport. Notice how it takes a little westward turn there, and then it goes right up the coast through 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. That is so rare to see any hurricane or tropical system do, but let alone a Category 4 hurricane that is taking a path right on top of the east coast of Florida. And that's going to likely stay right on the coast, guys, all the way toward Jacksonville and maybe as far to the north as Savannah and Hilton Head. We'll come back in just a little bit and look at some other computer models. And, oh, yeah, we'll focus on the weekend forecast around here, too.
Chris, thank you. Right now, the Davis H. Elliott Company is sending linemen from right here in Kentucky to help Florida deal with the aftermath of Hurricane Matthew.
WKYT's Andrea Walker talked with the vice president of that company to find out more about their storm response team.
It's easy to take for granted the men and women who keep our lights on. But when disaster strikes, that's when you really start to appreciate what they do.
We're usually one of the first people that know that folks in Florida, for example, for Hurricane Matthew is going to be needing help.
And as Brian Surrett with Davis H. Elliott Company told us today, Kentucky is already stepping up to help.
Davis H. Elliott already has 500 crew members in Florida. They'll get as close as they possibly can to where the storm is expected to hit and then move in to start repairs as soon as the storm moves through.
The guys that choose this path for their careers is a different breed of folks.
That's because as other people are heading out of harm's way, his teams are heading straight toward the storm.
They're going to be working in the worst conditions. There's going to be no power, no hotels. They're going to have electricity. Our guys will be sleeping in mobile sleeping units that are brought in, and they're going to be working 16 hours a day for the most part, and they're going to be working 7 days a week until all the power is restored.
But it's a sacrifice they're willing to make to help those in need.
Our folks that go out and work these storms they not only just restore the power, they help the communities that they're in. And one of the main reasons they do that is they would expect the folks that do this kind of work in other parts of the country to be here for them and help their families if they were in need.
In Lexington, Andrea Walker, WKYT.
Davis H. Elliott Company expects to send more than 1,000 crew members to Florida by this weekend. If Hurricane Matthew is as strong as expected, crew members will be away from their families for at least a month, repairing all the storm damage. So far, Hurricane Matthew has already killed more than 100 people in the Caribbean, most of those deaths happening in Haiti. Hurricane Matthew moved across Haiti on Tuesday, but officials have struggled to reach some of the people in the most remote areas. The massive storm left more than 1,500 homes flooded, forcing more than 300,000 people into shelters. Sabira Rayford is speaking to a woman who has been helping in Haiti for the past 6 years.
My heart is shattered.
Crystal Lawson says just last week she was in Haiti.
To land here days before the hurricane came to Haiti, I felt so guilty because I wasn't there to be with them.
Lawson is the founder of Hugs from God. Her organization is dedicated to helping the small villages in Haiti that are often overlooked. She says her church family in Haiti has been sending her pictures of the devastation from Tuesday's storm.
And these people are starving, so I have to feed them every day, buy the water and the food so that they have the strength to even be able to work.
The work Lawson does would usually take a whole village, but she says typically it's just her, which can sometimes get rough.
Honestly, a lot of times it's just been me and God.
She started the mission after the 2010 earthquake. Since then, her group has helped a lot of people, rebuilding homes and schools. But now she says some of the villages she's worked with are back to square one.
The small 2-room school that we have just finished building, that village was what was hit so hard.
Lawson says she's been in the process of building a church that could act as a shelter, but they weren't able to get it finished in time for the storm. She says this time she knows it's going to take a lot.
You can't turn away from it. I know them, and they're waiting for that miracle, and I can be a part of that miracle. We can be a part of that miracle.
For now, Lawson says her focus isn't to travel back down to Haiti right now, but to send them as much supplies as she can. She says 100% of the donations made to Hugs from God will go directly to the people impacted by the storm. In Lexington, Sabir Rayford, WKYT.
Hurricane Matthew is the strongest storm to hit Haiti in more than 50 years.
The case for a man accused of killing his wife is moving forward. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Bath County. Today, charges were presented to a grand jury in the case of Christopher White. Police say White shot his wife, Judy, at a home near Owensville in August. Police arrested him a week later in Indiana. He now faces a charge of murder. White's next court hearing has not yet been scheduled. In Laurel County, a traffic stop led to a dangerous police chase ending in a crash. Deputies arrested 32-year-old Jeremy Bowling last night off of Kentucky 490 just north of London. They say Bowling was driving recklessly, and when a deputy tried to wave him down, Bowling fled, passing vehicles in the oncoming lane, nearly hitting some. Police say Bowling then crashed into a ditch before running off without his shoes down railroad tracks. The deputy that had been pursuing eventually caught up with Bowling. He now faces several charges, including DUI, reckless driving, and evading police.
Funeral arrangements have been set for legendary basketball coach Bobby Keith. He passed away yesterday at the age of 75. He coached the Clay County basketball team for 29 seasons and was named Kentucky High School Coach of the Year 5 times. His funeral and visitation will be at Bobby Keith Gymnasium in Clay County. Visitation will be held Saturday from 4 p.m. to 8. His funeral is set for Sunday at 2 p.m.
A big announcement today for the city of Berea. U.S. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack paid a visit to Berea College this morning. While there, he announced $400 million will be used to help reduce poverty in some of the nation's poorest communities. The money will be spent on things like public safety facilities, education, housing, health care, and more.
Thousands of drivers use a Lexington road every day to reach neighborhoods and Hamburg shopping. Liberty Road is also where the public school buses leave from, so it can be a very, very busy area. Our good question is from Mary tonight. She's asking, Sam, are there any future plans to widen Liberty Road from Liberty Elementary School to New Circle Road? For an answer, I contacted the State Transportation Cabinet and the city. The section of Liberty Road from the elementary school to New Circle is a state road. It goes from 4 lanes to 2 lanes, and there are some turn lanes as well. And the mayor's office says it needs to be widened. They say the state and the city are aware of that need, and some initial hurdles have been cleared. But state highway money is tight. Natasha Lacey with the Transportation Cabinet says despite tight funding, Liberty Road will be one of the few state road projects, new ones, that will be able to start in the coming years. They anticipate it'll be 3 lanes or 5 lanes. That'll depend on traffic projections during the preliminary engineering stages. Thanks for that good question. To submit a good question, send an email to goodquestion@WKYT.com.
The Kentucky Board of Education is exploring the idea of charter schools. That story ahead on WKYT.
I'm Bill Bryant. Governor Matt Bevin tells some ministers to speak up when it comes to politics. President Obama's approval rating goes up as the end of his term nears. The bottom line is ahead.
Governor Bevin says preachers should not fear speaking up on political issues.
And some good news for President Obama. Bill Bryant has the details in the bottom line.
Good evening. Governor Matt Bevin says there is no reason for preachers to remain silent on politics in the pulpit, and he's challenging them to speak up. In a story that's getting some national attention, Bevin told ministers at a meeting at the governor's mansion last month that the federal law that threatens tax-exempt status for churches that preach about politics is a paper tiger. A 1954 law allows churches to advocate for a cause, but not for particular candidates or political parties. Bevin is reported by WFPL Radio to have told his audience they should not fear speaking out. Advocacy groups have complained to the IRS, and at least once a church's tax-exempt status was revoked when a church bought a full-page ad supporting Bill Clinton back in the 90s. But an expert on religious tax law told CBS News that it is a gray area. President Obama's approval rating has hit its highest point of his second term at 55%. It's also his high watermark among the public since his first year in the White House. The CNN ORC poll out today marks the 7th month in a row that Obama's approval rating has been above 50%. The poll shows the president's approval up most with Democrats, but it has also climbed among independents and Republican voters. The poll was taken September 28th through October 2nd. The second presidential debate is Sunday night in St. Louis, and Hillary Clinton is off the campaign trail preparing for the town hall-style forum, just as she did before the first debate. Donald Trump is continuing to campaign in several states. He was in New Hampshire today and will appear with House Speaker Paul Ryan for the first time in this campaign. There'll be an event in Ryan's Wisconsin district on Saturday. And we have more coverage on WKYT.com of today's visit by U.S. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack. He was at Berea College. He announced some initiatives to fight rural poverty in Kentucky. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
The Kentucky Board of Education is exploring the idea of charter schools. Kentucky is one of 7 states without legislation allowing charter schools, and the board plans to study charter schools during a special meeting next month. Charter schools are typically run by outside organizations, but they are publicly funded and open to any student.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Blue skies across the bluegrass state of Kentucky. Certainly everything focusing in the world of weather on what's going on across the southeastern seaboard. We'll get to that in a moment. Let's get you caught up on how we're rolling toward the weekend. Blue skies again across the region. We've got temperatures low 80s right now. It's a mild one out there. Sunsets will drop it through the 70s, mid and upper 60s showing up by 11 this evening. Quick look at your Defender radar network. You know what? Across Kentucky, there's nothing going on. Not a whole lot coming. Interesting storm, though, across the Plain States. Tornado warnings across many areas of Kansas, even confirmed tornadoes that have touched down. And into the northern parts and the western parts of Nebraska, it's snowing right now. So states that are side by side here, getting severe thunderstorms, tornadoes, and then snow, that's a sign of a very classic Plains fall storm system. You would think that that would get in here and create all kinds of problems across Kentucky. This pattern right now is skewed toward the dry side. After coming off of another exceptionally wet summer, things dried up in September for the most part, and October looks to follow the part. It's the dry, they're the driest 2 months of the year anyway. we go through the day tomorrow, we'll see temperatures into the upper 60s, low 70s, lunchtime, upper 70s, 75 to 80 tomorrow afternoon. Eastern Kentucky will be cooler where you have a shower chance, and that will continue into early on Saturday. Making some outdoor plans this weekend. Heading to a pumpkin farm, a festival, Commonwealth Stadium. Everything appears to be in pretty good shape right now. It's going to be a very windy day and a much cooler weekend. Low 40s to start things out on Sunday. Sunday afternoon, those temperatures are into the 60s. Very latest on our hurricane. Here we go with Matthew. And notice how in the last frame of this, Matthew gets toward Freeport and takes a little bit of a jog toward the left. Sometimes they can sense a little friction from the land and they try to take the path of least resistance. Very interesting to see that, and it's also beginning to tighten up with that eye right now. Still a Category 4 hurricane. Winds with this are greater than 100 miles per hour right around the eye wall, and you see that eye wall and the eye that is south of Freeport, but this has taken a little more of a westward jog here just over the past 15-20 minutes or so. Freeport right now getting absolutely hammered. This storm is heading toward landfall late this evening into the wee hours of the morning, anywhere from maybe as far south as West Palm up toward the Fort Pierce and Melbourne areas. As we go through the next few hours, those hurricane warnings extend all the way up the east coast of Florida, and this storm may try to do a little loop and come back toward the Bahamas and Florida after it gets done with the Carolinas this weekend. Back here in Kentucky, weather is just absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I feel guilty about the weather we are having, no doubt about it. 78 tomorrow, 66 on Saturday, small shower chance. Next 7 days are mainly dry.
Pretty rare to see it go up the coast like that and hug it.
It's very rare to see that, and especially as a Category 4 hurricane. And this is strengthening still right now, just looking at that latest radar loop. We have those live radars coming out of Melbourne and Miami right now. Gosh. So that track on that, guys, unprecedented, especially in modern times.
Thank you, Chris.
Right. We feel for so many of those people. Yeah. Thank you.
And a couple of collisions. One is at Winchester and Elkhorn. That's an injury crash in the intersection there, and it's causing issues for in and outbound Winchester Road from I-75 over to Fortune Drive right now. We cleared the collision on DeLong Road. That leaves us one at Nicholasville near Waveland Museum Lane. Drive times this afternoon to Nicholasville less than 15, and right now to Richmond still good across the Clays Ferry Bridge. Now back to the studio.
Just ahead, the Cats get back on their home field this weekend.
Critical game for both Kentucky and Vandy. How do the Cats approach what really is a must game coming up Saturday? And high school football on a Thursday night. We will preview Tates Creek and Madison Central. Stay with us for sports next on WKYT. The Wildcats remain a 3-point favorite to even up their season record at 3-3 Saturday against Vandy. Last Saturday, Alabama coach Nick Saban said his team's game against Kentucky, one of the more physical that the Tide has played all season. UK players say they'll have to bring the same kind of intensity to the field this weekend.
It adds a lot of motivation. Going in there with a chip on our shoulders, and we're going to go in there and compete all 4 quarters, and we're going to get them boys everything we got. It's going to be a war Saturday night, and you know, that's what we're ready to do. We're ready to go to war with these guys and get this W.
That's how we prepare every Saturday, but like I said earlier, like it's a must win. So whatever it comes down to, like if we fighting, battling, like biting in a game, that's what it is. Like, we got to win.
Vandy has won 4 of the last 5 against the Cats. 4 o'clock kickoff on the SEC Network. 2 red-hot high school teams meet tonight in Richmond, Tates Creek, and Madison Central. The Commodores have found an electrifying offense while the Indians' defense is dynamite. Last year, Tates Creek rallied to win this game, and the Doors know a home playoff game is at stake tonight.
Yeah, this game is huge. You got to have a home playoff game to succeed in the playoffs, and hopefully we can get it and just keep on winning throughout then.
This game is also about, we, you know, one of our goals is to be district champions, and you can't be district champions without this game. So we have a lot of work we have to do. We have to come in focused. We have to play fast. We want to host a home playoff game. We want to be district champs.
And a quick look at our top 10 for this week. It is unchanged from last week. Scott County #1, Lafayette is 2, the Creek at #4, traveling to #7, Madison Central tonight. In the next half hour, we will continue our Wildcat previews with freshman Wenyan Gabriel. Gabriel came on late. He really exploded in his second year on the AAU circuit, and he believes the fans will like the way he plays.
They're going to like my versatility, and they're going to like how hard I play. They're going to like how I fight. I have a high motor, so I do a lot of things. I go out there. I go get steals, rebounds, all different types of things, play good defense, and just keep moving. So I think that really helps my team out, helps winning, and I think players like to play with me.
So that is coming up at 6, Wenyan Gabriel. Stay with us as we continue after the break.